Hello there, mateys. This is Colin from the One Stop Co-op Shop. I am here to show you Forgotten Waters, a new game by Plaid Hat Games. Just came out. I actually just got it today. I am super excited about it. I don't know if you guys know, but one of my favorite types of games are story-driven games. I love games that have a good story. Tom Vassell did a review of this, and he just raved about the actual story, and so I'm super excited to show you guys this. Now, before I do jump in, I want to say a couple things. First of all, this is going to be a spoiler playthrough. I'm going to do the first mission. I think there's 3 or 4. I think there's 4, actually, that are in the base game. But I'm going to be doing the first one. We'll see how far we get. And you might see some story elements that may be similar to when you play it, but from how I understand it, there's a lot of randomization within the game as well, so your experience could be quite different from me. This part of the book, this is the first location you go to. That's why I felt okay showing this. You will see this the first time you play. You start in this port, so that's why this is out. If you don't want to see anything else, I'd recommend just turning this off. Watch Tom Vassell's review. That will give you an understanding of the game. What I want to show you is, hey, how does this game play, and see if it's something that you're interested in. As well as I'm hoping that we can have a story together, because I love doing that. It's one of my favorite things. I also want to mention that the designer did come out with solo rules, which I think is super awesome. However, I'm going to be showing you a 4-pirate game just because I want to. I hope that's okay. I feel like with the solo rules, I would be tripping over myself because I haven't played this enough. Heck, I haven't even played more than, I think I played, 20 minutes of this game just to make sure I understand how it works, but I want to experience this story with you. So instead of being caught up with the rules, I'm just going to go ahead and play this with 4 different pirates, and we'll just have as much fun as we can. The game is overall cooperative, but when you win or lose, if you lose, you all lose together. If you win, some people can win more than others. I don't really care about that. I'm just going to try and get my pirates to win together if we can. So in this video, what we're going to do a really quick setup, but then I want to show you the backgrounds of my 4 pirates that I've built. And then in the next video, we'll actually jump into the playthrough itself. So if you want to just jump to the playthrough, feel free to check out the next video on this playlist. Otherwise, hang out here. We'll set up the board really quickly because it doesn't take too long, and then we'll learn about the backstories of our characters and do the introduction. This game does use an app, so you have to make sure you're okay with that. But usually what you're using the app for is story-based items, stuff like that. Wow, look at how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different scenarios. We're going to do the first one, Beyond the Ocean's Edge. So we grab that, then we do this, we do a view setup. Is this the first time playing Beyond the Ocean's Edge? Yes, it is. So then what we can see here, this shows us our map setup. I've already done this. There are tiles that have these numbers on them, and we set them up like so. That's an island tile, that's an island tile, and that's where our ship will be. It's in the port of the tile 953. There's also this boat here of 962. You're also going to see you need to set up your Cooper supplies track at 10. I could adjust that on mine. And then you have your descent at 0. You have your crew track at 9. And then your hull is at level 5. Here you can see our supplies track is at 10. Now, if you were playing this with different players, each player would take control of certain items of these to track. I'm going to be doing all of it myself. I don't find it to be much of an issue, but just so you know, if you are playing solo, you will have to manage all of this. Here's our first mate track. We have our discontent here at 0 and our crew track at 9. And then this is a feeding track, I believe. So we have to pay 5 food because we have 9 crew members on our ship. And you can see here, one of the ways we can lose is if the discontent marker and crew marker meet, all players lose the game, and we read entry 951. Finally, our hull up here is at 5. And once again, if that ever goes to 0, we also lose the game. We also need to set up our cannons. Now, I don't even know how these work specifically. It doesn't say in the rules. I'm assuming I'm going to find out as we play. We have our L1 that's loaded, and we can use it to add +3, I assume, to a die roll. And we have an L1 unloaded, so I'm going to set those 2 up. I have them set up here in our gunner track. Finally, we have our Retrieve Objective Card 1, decipher the map from the objective deck, and place it on the lookout board. Then we're going to place the ship on the special location token 953, which we saw right here. And I'll show you that in a second. All players get treasure +1, aka we all just start with 1 treasure. And then we have to write Seeds of Doubt on our ship's log. Here we have our map. We've matched it out to what it looks like in the app. We need to know that we cannot do anything with these rocks. You can't go onto those locations. They're going to have to go around. Here we have our threat track and our objective, decipher the map. Our goal, reach Precipice Island 963. So that's where we're trying to go. Actually, you can see it right here. We're trying to get to this location. Here's our ship log. We have a ship name. I called us the Foam Drinker. Our scenario is beyond the ocean's edge, and we just placed Seeds of Doubt. Anything else that we need to place, I'll just put it on this sheet. And then once again, if you were the scribe, you'd control this and take care of tracking the threats and the captain quarters and the captain missions, etc. It states here as a special rule, if you are asked to read the entry of a space containing special location token 962 and another token, read only entry 962. And it's important to know that reading entry 962 will result in players losing the game. Special location token 962 should be avoided at all costs. And that was that ship token that was on the board. It looks like this. I think we're trying to avoid them. What do you guys think? We also have our infamy track here, and when you're playing with 4 or more players, you just randomly place each character on the infamy track. They're going from highest to lowest. And you'll see who these pirates are shortly. We'll go ahead and hit the continue button, and we have a scenario set up. Have each player read the backstory section of their player sheet aloud, filling in any blanks as they read with the corresponding word from the story blanks section of their sheet. And you'll see how that is. Let's do it. Here we have Swordfish Sally. Swordfish Sally is going to be denoted by this yellow/orange character, and when I'm playing in the game, just because of how it looks on camera, I'm going to be using these when placing them out on the board, just so they don't block other things, because these standees are so gosh darn tall. So she is yellow, aka orange. We grabbed her yellow die. We also all will have this that tells us that the max amount of treasures we can have is 4. If we gain another treasure, we can discard 1 and gain +1 supplies. Her treasure is you may discard before performing a bronze check to add 3 to the result. Cool. I'd spent my entire life on dry land. I owned a quaint little bakery with my spouse and children. We made all sorts of cakes and pies for royal types, but it wasn't until we started making elephant custard pastries that things changed. The royals couldn't get enough of those pastries, and we made a pretty penny. Eventually, Duke Sir Lancelot himself ordered a dozen to sample. How was I supposed to know he'd be allergic to the main ingredient? The royals quickly charged me with murder, and I was forced to go on the lam or face the hangman's noose. Luckily, or perhaps unluckily, a pirate ship was in port at the time, and the captain agreed to take me on. It was only a few hours at the port before I realized the sway of the ocean set my stomach into a lurching tizzy. I can hardly keep down the moldy bread stored below deck, never mind cookies, Brussels sprouts, in red sauce, which I always promptly retched overboard moments after eating. If I'm to survive at all, I'll need to clear my name, find a way home, and get off this wretched pirate boat before it's too late. So you can see here the story, you actually pick certain things before you even look at this, kind of like a Mad Lib style, and you put them in. It's really fun. It gives you just a little bit of background about the character. Next here we have Gummy Jones. He's called Gummy Jones probably because he doesn't have many teeth. It's more just gums in his mouth. He has the Jack Powder, and that's a discard to gain aim 1 with a cannon, I'm assuming, or supplies +2, which is kind of nice. Same thing with the Max 4. He'll be using this when we're placing him out on the board, and there's his die. I was known throughout the lands as one of the greatest chefs to ever grace a kitchen. Wealthy nobles from around the world would pay for my passage to their courts in order to bless their plates with my talents. From my smoked scalloped and olive plates to my onion and ox heart fricasse, and even my anglerfish and cream sorbet, my dishes were the talk of the town. Sadly, on my last trip to a distant land, we were beset by pirates. They flew the flag of the dreaded omen, and they quickly put me in chains and declared that I was the new ship's cook. I tried everything I could to escape. I tried to pick the lock on my chains. I routinely undercooked dishes of roasted bald eagle to try and poison the crew. Eventually, I proved to be too much of trouble, and they dumped me with a rival ship. Life aboard the other ship was actually been pretty good. I'm not in chains, the captain is kind, and the crew is surprisingly polite and jovial. But their cook is a drooling halfwit. I wonder if I can set fire to the ship and escape the next time we're at port. Our next pirate is the Wise Old Cookie. She's got the long-tailed jacket. Now, what these do is they actually boost up her skills. I haven't talked about this, and you'll see it in the playthrough. But whenever we do skill tests, we're going to look here and add a number equal to how far we've gone onto this skill test. But we also get to add any loot items. So if we look here, that symbol is swagger. If, let's say, she's crossed off these two spots, she'd get a +2, +1 because of this long-tailed jacket, so a total of +3. Same thing with exploration. She already has a +1 because of that. I'd never describe myself as evil. After all, I don't desire to see no one get hurt, much. If I had to, I'd say I was possessed more of a petty, malicious bent. Me early years are mostly carefree, growing up in the port town of Swiss cheese. I was never the biggest kid on the streets, but I learned to use my wits to my advantage. Sadly, I had to flee a port Swiss cheese when I had a wee disagreement with a local strawberry seller over what was funny and what wasn't. But when I made a new home on the Isle of Old Stone Rook, I met up with an infamous charlatan, Professor Arthur, under whose tutelage I was to flourish. He taught me the art of making funnies. I excelled at every lesson, and it was during this time that I first created George Wellington, an alter ego I oft used when inflicting hilarity upon my unsuspecting populace. Sadly, it was also at this time that Professor Arthur taught me the ultimate prank, when he humiliated me at Brown Goodall's midsummer party. The prank was perfect in every way, having been slowly executed over the course of 3 years. Yes, my entire education was in fact a setup for an elaborate joke whose quality is such I am still forced to respect it. Dejected, I became a pirate where I tried to add levity to the lives of dangerous, well-armed halfwits. Last but not least, we have TikTok Ross. Love that name. He has loot, golden chompers. You may discard before performing a brawn check to add 4 to a result. Now, I haven't been telling you guys this. They all are different types of pirates. And what I did is I literally just randomly picked ones from the, I think there's like 20 of them, and printed them out and then randomly placed out the people with them. And the names I actually generated from the back of the rule book. You roll some dice and you just can determine the first name and last name of these people. It's kind of fun. So that's how I created these individuals. So he is going to be our green character, and we've already talked about his loot, and he is the lovesick pirate. The rest of the crew might think me mad, but I know what I saw. It was early morning, and I was alone on the deck when I heard what I thought was a cry of monkeys coming from the sea. I went to the railing, and there I saw it, the most beautiful creature I'd ever seen. Skin glistened with silver blue shine, and each eye was bigger than a melon, and as beautiful as the stars. I knew right away this was a one-of-a-kind merfolk. It seemed to be caught in a fishing net Wise Old Cookie had left cast out, and the mer looked to be struggling to get free. I quickly caught the fair creature from the net. They looked deeply into my eyes, and then with a gracious smile and a peck on the cheek, they swam away. I was instantly smitten, and try as I might, I just can't shake them from my mind. I've decided the only course of action is to follow me heart and do whatever it takes to locate my one true love, those monkeys. So before setting up this playthrough, I had my son help me pick out those words for all of those Mad Libs, essentially. And yeah, they're pretty hilarious, right? I still think it's great that the guy's in love with a monkey. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so we have our scenario set up. Let's read our introduction. Now, I'm going to tell you that the app itself is going to have, all of the scenarios are going to have actual readings, so you can have the app itself read it to you, and the voiceovers are phenomenal. At least that's what Tom was saying. I actually haven't listened to any. I'm going to only do where I'm reading it, and I'm sorry about that. I'm not nearly as good, but that's because I can't seem to get the sound to the quality that I like for you guys to hear. So instead, you're going to hear my voice. I apologize, but just take it as it comes. Let's read our intro. Long ago, people spoke of a land called Sunset, a place full of honorable merfolk, powerful witches, towering monsters, and legendary pirates. A world that stretched so far and wide that not even the royal moths could claim dominion over it. But as the years passed and the world twisted, the legend of Sunset faded, and most forgot about its wonder. most except Captain Jezebel J. Vance. He never for a moment questioned that sunset was real and spent his life searching for it. Now, an old man, he has decided to set off on one last adventure to find the fabled waters of Sunset and has convinced you to join him. Your quest begins in search of the fabled clearing stone. Captain Vance is convinced it is key to getting into Sunset. You've struck some luck in acquiring a map that should lead you to the stone, but none of you can understand it in its entirety. Because of this, you sail to Precipice Island, where an old friend of the captain may be able to decipher the map. The quest seems easy enough, but Captain Vance's previous adventures have made him some enemies, most notable of which is the Royalmont family, who have hired the notorious Captain Razor to hunt you down. Begin the first round on page 19, where we're already at. There you have it. That was the setup for Forgotten Waters. I hope you guys are excited. I am pumped. I can't wait to play this. I know I'm going to play a ton of things wrong or, not optimal because I have no idea what's going on, but I hope we still enjoy the story, and I just appreciate you guys being here and watching it with me. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll catch you in the playthrough.